is Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia, the second child of Martin Luther King Sr., a pastor, and Alberta Williams King, a former school teacher. Along with older sister Christine and younger brother Alfred Daniel Williams, he grew up in the city's sweet urban neighborhood, then home to some of the most prominent and prosperous African Americans in the country. Martin Luther King Jr. was a social activist and Baptist minister who played a key role in the American civil rights movement from the mid-1950 until his assassination in 1968. King saw equality and human rights for African Americans, the economically disadvantaged, and as victims of injustice through peaceful protest. He was the driving force behind watershed events such as the Montgomery bus boycott and the 1963 March on Washington, which helped bring about such landmark legislation as the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964 and is remembered each year on Martin Luther King Jr. Day and U.S. federal holiday since 1986. Martin Luther King Jr. worked with a number of civil rights and religious groups to organize the March on the Washington for Jobs and Freedom, a peaceful political rally designed to shed light on the injustice Black Americans continue to face across the country. Held on August 28 and attended by some 200,000 to 300,000 participants. The event is widely regarded as a watershed moment in the history of the American civil rights movement and a factor in the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The March Washington culminated in King's most famous address, known as the I Have a Dream speech, a spirit call for peace and equality that many consider a masterpiece of rhetoric. On the evening April 4, 1968, Martin Luther King was assassinated. He was fatally shot while standing on the balcony of the motel in Memphis, where King had traveled to support a sanitation workers' strike. In the wake of his death, a wave of riots swept major cities across the country while President Johnson declared a national day of mourning.